بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
الحمد لله رب العالمين
الحمد لله رب
اللهم
العالمين.
صل على سيدنا محمد
اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد.
نويت تعلم وتعليم
نويت تعلم وتعليم
وتذكر وتذكيرا
وتذكر وتذكيرا
والإفادة والاستفادة
والإفادة والاستفادة
والحث على تمسك
والحث على تمسك
بكتاب الله
بكتاب الله
وسنة رسوله
وسنة رسوله
صلى الله عليه وسلم
صلى الله عليه وسلم
والدعاء إلى الهدى
والدعاء إلى الهدى
والدلالة على الخير
والدعاء على الخير
ابتغاء وجه الله
ابتغاء وجه الله
ومرضاته
ومرضاته
وقربه
وقربه
وثوابه
وثوابه
سبحانه وتعالى.
سبحانه وتعالى.
So inshallah we intended to begin with the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most beneficial and most merciful, and then we send all of the praise that we can to Allah, the Allah of all of the worlds and every creation, and then we send our peace, prayers of peace and blessings upon the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and really all of the prophets. And then we made our intention to start the day, which was to basically to intend to learn and benefit ourselves and everyone around us, and to do this all for the pleasure of Allah and His reward, and to be close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So some other things that we talked about yesterday, I want to continue a little bit of what we talked about. And one of the things that we mentioned is that you can't determine how your day is going to be. You can't exactly determine how your day is exactly going to be. All you can do is plan for your day. Like tomorrow, you don't know what's going to happen, how you're going to feel. And really, you can't tell me anything that's going to happen. You can guess, you can estimate, but there's nothing that you can do that will make it happen exactly the way that you want it to happen. Allah, that's Allah's domain. Allah creates every single moment. We don't create the moment. Allah creates every single second. We don't create the second. So what can we do then, right? If we can't do anything, then what can we do? We can prepare, right? That's the only thing we can do. We can prepare. So like, I use a good example to use is like the person who's walking. For example, there you cannot stop from moving forward. Right? I'm not talking about walking. If you're walking, you can stop on the sidewalk, say I'm standing still, but your day is still going, right? Your life is still moving forward. So you're like a person at the airport on the moving escalator, you know, the moving walkway. He's standing still, but he's still moving, right? It's like, no, I'm standing still, but the escalator is still moving, right? So life is like that. You can't really stand still. Allah keeps you moving forward, and you can't really determine what's going to come in front of you. Only Allah can determine that. So what are the things that we can control? Our preparation, right? From the basic things, how we eat, how we sleep, how fit we are, how strong we are, right? We can control our attitude. Right? We can control our intention. We can control those things that are a part of us, right? We can control. So one of the reasons why we start the day the way that we do here is because those are the things we can control. We can start by saying Bismillah. We can start by praising Allah. We can start by making an intention. Everything after that is in Allah's hands, right? How well we're going to do, how poor we're going to do. In the end, it's up to Allah. We can just prepare. We can just prepare. And there's going to be times that are going to be very easy for you. It's times that are going to be very hard for you. Times are going to be very happy for you. Times that are going to be very sad for you, right? Nothing you can do to really decide how many happy days you're going to have in your life, how many sad days you're going to have in your life, how many easy days you're going to have in your life, how many hard days you're going to have in your life. There's nothing you can do. There's no bargain you can make with Allah. There's nothing you can buy and sell, you can trade. But you can control your attitude, right? You can control your emotions. You can control try to control the amount of stress you have, right? You can control your heart, your intention, how you look at those things, right? One thing you look at the life of the Prophet, peace be upon him, is that when we don't talk much about his easy times, his happy times, but we know a lot about his hard times, his difficult times, and never once do you find him complaining, right? So one of the ways that he dealt with some of the hard things in his life is that he didn't complain about them. didn't complain about them. Right? So even with you guys, who many of you are school age, right? It was the hardest thing, most complicated, difficult thing in your life. You haven't experienced much of life yet, right? So maybe the most, like the worst thing that can happen to you in the day is not having the dinner that you wanted to have for dinner. Right? You really wanted this thing and your mom made something else. Like, first of all, those are not problems, okay? Those are not problems. If those are the worst things that are happening to you in your life, those are like blessings that you have options of what to eat, right? That's the worst thing. You open the refrigerator and you're like, oh, what am I gonna eat? It's so hard. And that's what, like, that's your complaint the whole day, right? Oh my God, there's only lemonade, there's no orange juice, right? If that's the worst thing that's happening to you, you're like big time blessed, right? Big time blessed, right? So first of all, understanding like what is an actual problem for you, and realizing that many of the things that are happening are not like problems. They're not, right? And then if they actually do have a problem, or you do have a problem, then controlling the things that you can control. And those are things that are not that much, right? You can control your emotions, you can control your anger, you can control your stress, right? But most of the other things you can't control. Like Ustad Rehan has a hard time like controlling his 3-year-old daughter, right? And many of you can't control a sneeze. If you have to sneeze, you can't. Many of you can't stop it, right? Or many of you cannot control your yawns. I can tell you that for sure. They just come out, and whenever they want. So you can't even control your yawn, right? So like, chill out. There's not much you can control, except that you understand Allah is in control, and that your emotions you can control, and the way you think about things you can control, right? Then having patience you can control. Thanking Allah you can control. Being patient with Allah, those things you can control. So basically some of the things that we talked about yesterday and today is that you're not going to be able to tell Allah how to plan your life. You can't. And you're not going to be able to do anything to decide exactly how your future is going to be. But we can tell you, your parents and your teachers and the Quran and the prophets, that life is going to be up and down, up and down, up and down. And you have to control yourself. The way you look at those things, the way you feel about those things, the way you behave with Allah during those times, right? Those are the things that you can control. And as a student, this is a very important lesson, right? You can control your effort, you can control your attitude, you can control how much you prepare, right? You can control how much motivation you have. Those are the things that are in your control. So it's a big lesson, but it's very relevant, and you can use it even as a student here at Sanad. So inshallah, Allah give you guys tawfiq in that. And